Good evening, everyone. This is Melissa Thomas of Florida National News coming to you with the evening news and rundown for your Friday, August 28th, 2020. Yes, August is officially over, but thank you guys as always for tuning in. And as always, we'd like to extend an invitation for any small businesses, large businesses, whoever is looking to advertise with us. Florida National News offers 5 different shows to choose from to run advertisements or to even sponsor some of our segments. So if you or someone you know are interested in advertising, just shoot us an email at ads@floridanationalnews.com and we'll love to get started with you. As always, we like to give you guys the latest COVID-19 reports as a start to our segment. So globally speaking, the World Health Organization is reporting basically 24,300 confirmed cases and over 827,000 confirmed deaths. Here in the United States, Johns Hopkins University has reported that we finally broke the 5.9 million mark and we are at over 181,000 confirmed deaths. Here in the state of Florida, according to the Department of Health, we're seeing over 615,000 confirmed cases and we have pretty much broken the 11,000 mark in terms of confirmed deaths. Now, jumping into our world story for today, some UK workers will be able to receive some money, some compensation, given self-isolation that they'll be required to do in high-risk COVID-19 areas. In these places, these are folks who are not able to stay home and self-isolate. They have jobs where they're required to go to work, so they'll be able to get a small amount of compensation. According to reports, some workers will be paid £130 or roughly 172 US dollars if they're required to self-isolate in high-risk areas. This is according to the British government in their announcement as of Thursday. The payouts will be available to workers with low incomes who can't work from home and live in areas with those high numbers of confirmed cases. Workers who test positive for the virus and qualify for the payment will receive the equivalent of £13 per day for a 10-day period of self-isolation starting from September 1st. Meanwhile, other members of their household who have to isolate for 14 days will also be entitled to a payment of £182. People outside of that same household who have been identified by the UK's contact tracing system and been advised to self-isolate will also be paid up to £182, depending on the length of isolation. Now, to be eligible, those affected have to already be receiving either universal credit or working tax credit payments. The payments will be made to people within 48 hours of them providing the necessary evidence to prove eligibility. Now, the plan is being tried in the northwest areas of Blackburn and with Darwin, Pendle, and Oldham, which have recently seen local restrictions imposed by the government due to the spike in COVID-19 cases there. Now, the mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, tweeted that he thought it was good that the government had at least acknowledged the problem of people who can't afford to self-isolate. And also, other areas in the northwest of England have also seen restrictions following the local outbreaks of the virus there. The UK in total has reported over 330,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 and over 41,000 confirmed deaths from the virus. And this is according to data compiled by Johns Hopkins University. Now, jumping here to the United States, there are several states who are bucking against the new CDC requirements to reduce the number of testing that is going on. And those states include this great state of Florida, actually, but some of the other states also include California, New York, Texas, Arizona, Connecticut, Illinois, and New Jersey. They're all planning to continue to test asymptomatic people who have been exposed to COVID-19, despite the new CDC guidance saying that such tests may not be needed. A spokesperson for the Texas Department of Health Services said in a statement, quote, "The current Texas guidance recommends testing for all close contacts of a confirmed case because it allows for early case identification among people who are at a higher risk of infection. There is not a planned change at this point." Now, California and New York also made similar statements. They're going to continue to do things the way that they've been doing them. The Florida Department of Health said that asymptomatic testing was continuing while the new CDC recommendations are being evaluated. And Texas also said that it would evaluate as well. Now, as I mentioned, the CDC this week said people exposed to COVID-19 but are not symptomatic may not need to be tested. Now, of course, that sparked some speculation that that move was politically motivated. However, Admiral Brett Giroir, who is the Assistant Secretary for Health at the Department of Health and Human Services, said there was no political pressure from the administration. He said testing asymptomatic patients too early could produce false negatives and contribute to the virus's spread. Now, nationally, cases have fallen for 5 weeks in a row, but infections are surging again in the US Midwest. You guys heard us talk about that last week, with 4 states reporting record one-day increases in cases as of Thursday, as the US death toll climbed above 180,000. And in terms of testing, the US tested on average 675,000 people a day last week, which is a drop from the peak in July of over 800,000 people per day. So stay tuned here at Florida National News for more updates on that. Now, jumping here to the state of Florida, a bit of good news speaking of COVID-19 testing. There will be a rapid COVID-19 testing site coming here locally to Orlando, Florida. COVID-19 Testing LLC, yes, that is the name of the company. COVID-19 Testing LLC, or COVID Testing LLC, excuse me. They said the first site will open near Millennium Mall on 33rd Street. They will open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So all of these hours that I'm about to read to you, all of the closing times are 6 p.m. So Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. as well. The testing site is reportedly a mobile site that will have multiple lanes. The company claims that by using a serology finger prick test, they can get results for COVID-19 testing and antibodies within 15 minutes. They can also do the PCR nasal swab test as well. The opening date for the first location has not been given yet, but they did say that additional locations will be given in the coming weeks. So that is a bit of great news for Orlando, particularly given the need for testing, and especially the report that I just shared with you with Florida saying they're not reducing the number of tests that they're going to administer. But in the meantime, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to come back with some more news stories for you. Stay tuned.
At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?
Welcome back, everyone, to the Evening News Rundown. And going into your next U.S. story, just a quick update with Hurricane Laura. You guys have likely heard the reports. Hurricane Laura left quite a bit of damage in her wake. Now, the most intense hurricane to hit Louisiana in more than a century has left at least 6 people dead and hundreds of thousands of people without power, and an untold number of homes and buildings in ruins due to the massive damage that was left behind. Now, for his part, Texas Governor Greg Abbott did say that the state of Texas dodged a bullet, given the damage that they did sustain compared to the damage that was expected. He mentioned that they dodged a bullet, and as of right now, he says there are no reports of anyone dead from Texas. The 6 deaths that unfortunately resulted from Hurricane Laura were in the state of Louisiana. So Governor John Bel Edwards there told reporters Thursday, quote, "It is clear that we did not sustain and suffer the absolute catastrophic damage that we thought was likely based on the forecast we had, but we have sustained a tremendous amount of damage. We have thousands and thousands of our fellow citizens whose lives are upside down." So in terms of the folks who have unfortunately passed away due to the hurricane, 3 people died in the eastern and northern part of the state, and 4 of the deaths were due to falling trees. One of the deaths was a 24-year-old man who died from carbon monoxide poisoning from a generator, and another person was in a boat during the storm and unfortunately drowned. As you guys likely know, Hurricane Laura was a tropical storm. It got downgraded to a tropical storm Thursday after it made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane with 150-mile-an-hour winds. Now, in areas where people lost power, there are 540,000 customers that were without electricity, according to poweroutage.us. And this is, in the Louisiana area. The Louisiana Department of Health also estimated that 220,000 people were without drinking water as well. Over in Texas, there were nearly 300,000 customers that were without power, according to the poweroutage.us website. He said, quote, if we make it, Governor Abbott said, if we make it through a Category 4 hurricane that ripped through the coastline all the way up through the Texarkana area, and we have been able to have minimal or perhaps no loss of life, that is a miracle. So again, stay tuned to Florida National News for more continuing updates. Now, jumping here to the state of Florida in more updates with the school ruling situation. The same judge that had ruled parts of the executive order for schools to reopen for 5 days out of the week unconstitutional. Governor Ron DeSantis went ahead and filed an appeal. The appeal would put a stay on the injunction. The judge decided to basically rule against the appeal, which completely removes the stay. Like, he wants the injunction to remain. So that is the bit of update there. Governor Ron DeSantis obviously is pushing for schools to remain open during the pandemic, obviously, with that 5-day-a-week requirement. He feels it's important for students to have the educational experience. So under law, that notice of appeal that I mentioned would automatically place a stay on the judge's ruling. But late Tuesday, attorneys for the Florida Education Association and the Orange County Teachers Union had asked Judge Dotson to lift that stay. So in a 3-page order on Thursday, Dotson rejected the state's arguments when they were pushing for the stay on the injunction. And he wrote that there were essentially a rehash of the state's case presented during the 2.5-day hearing last week. Now, pointing to his temporary injunction, Dotson wrote that, quote, there exists a clear evidentiary basis demonstrating compelling circumstances to warrant vacating the automatic stay provided when state defendants appealed. More than 711,000 school children have already gone back to school in-person instruction as of Wednesday, according to court documents. All school districts outside of Broward, Miami-Dade, and Palm Beach counties, they're still on their way up in terms of reopening. Those 3 counties were exempted from the mandate that was issued back in July. However, a lot of the other counties have either already reopened or plan to reopen this coming Monday. Now, Governor DeSantis and Mr. Corcoran have staunchly maintained that families need to be able to choose whether to send children back to school or continue with distance learning, which of course began back in March when schools had shuttered nationwide when the COVID-19 virus hit very, very strongly here in the state of Florida. Now, a little less than half of the state's 2.8 million school children had signed up to return to schools in person as classrooms reopened this month, according to Jacob Oliva, the chancellor of Florida's K-12 system. The immediate impact of Dotson lifting the stay is still currently unclear. So we'll see how the tug of war continues to go. And we at Florida National News, as always, will keep you updated on the situation. In the meantime, we're going to take another quick commercial break, guys, and come back with your business and sports story. Stay tuned.
I'm not picking it up. You pick it up.
I'm not picking it up.
Well, somebody's got to pick it up.
I'll pick it up. They're clean. 'Cause my hand is clean. Oh yeah, I'm Charmin Clean. That's how I know they're clean.
Charmin Ultra Strong is woven like a washcloth and just cleans better.
Yeah, I'm Charmin
The
Clean.
kid does have a
That's
point.
My hand is clean.
Enjoy the go with Charmin. And for an extra clean finish, try Charmin Flushable Wipes.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Evening News Rundown. Jumping into our business story, Walmart is joining the courtship of TikTok amid the potential ban of TikTok from the United States, as is imposed by President Trump. You guys have heard the story not only through us here at the Evening News Rundown, but also through Jamesia Stoudemire out of Los Angeles through the Entertainment 4 for 4. But yes, Walmart has now thrown their hat in the ring to potentially buy TikTok. They're partnering with Microsoft in an attempt to buy it, as a popular yet embattled short-form video act seeks a U.S. buyer amid the intense political scrutiny. Now, Walmart told CNN Business on Thursday that it is participating in the negotiations with Microsoft over a potential deal. They said their interest in TikTok stems from the way the app has, quote, integrated e-commerce and advertising capabilities in other markets and could bolster its access to consumers. Walmart said, quote, we believe a potential relationship with TikTok US in partnership with Microsoft could add this key functionality and provide Walmart with an important way for us to reach and serve omni-channel customers, as well as grow our third-party marketplace and advertising business. businesses. We are confident that a Walmart and a Microsoft partnership would meet both the expectations of US TikTok users while satisfying the concerns of US government regulators. Now, this announcement came hours after TikTok CEO Kevin Mayer quit his job. You guys heard Jamesia Stoudemire talk about that yesterday during the Entertainment 444. He has officially stepped down as CEO of the video sharing app. And of course, after it faced criticism from President Trump over its ownership of the Chinese company ByteDance. Now, Mayer said, quote, in recent weeks, as the political environment has sharply changed, I've done significant reflection on what the corporate structural changes will require and what it means for the global role I signed up for. It is with a heavy heart that I wanted to let you all know that I have decided to leave the company. In his letter, Mayer did say to expect, quote, a resolution very soon, which is a phrase indicating that a deal could be reached within the next week, according to a person that is familiar with the negotiations. Now, of course, TikTok had hired Mayer, who was a former top Disney executive, less than 4 months ago to run the app, which was first owned by the Chinese company to gain significant traction in Western countries. In addition to his CEO responsibilities, Mayer became the chief operating officer of ByteDance as well, which is the parent company for TikTok. Now, since then, TikTok has come under fire from the US government, which is why Mayer decided to take a step back and leave the company altogether. Now, even before Trump issued the executive orders calling for TikTok's ban, the company was rethinking its corporate structure. According to the Wall Street Journal, in early July, they said that ByteDance was considering establishing a headquarters for the video app outside of China or a new management board to distance the service from the country. Now, TikTok has 100 million users in the US alone. So those who are used to using TikTok, obviously there have been several alternatives that have surfaced, including Triller and Instagram introducing feeds now, I believe is what it's called, or Reels. Instagram Reels has kind of the alternatives to TikTok in the event that it is completely banned, but that's a lot of users, 100 million. The company has explored selling its US business, which industry experts say is worth between 40 billion and 50 billion with a B, to Microsoft and reportedly to Oracle as well. Lots of dollars flying around, lots of money flying around. However, we'll continue to keep you guys updated on that as well. Jumping to our sports story very briefly, and you guys will probably hear a little bit more from Casey Hudson tonight when she comes with the FNN Sports Take. But Orlando Magic co-founder Pat Williams has actually weighed in on the recent boycott, particularly as it relates to not only the killing of George Floyd, but also the recent killing of Jacob Blake in Wisconsin. But he mentioned that this particular boycott is somewhat historic. It's something that he says is new. It's something he hasn't seen at this level before. He mentioned on Wednesday, he said he watched closely Wednesday night as the Milwaukee Bucks decided to forfeit that game, and the Magic opted not to accept that forfeiture as both teams wanted to steer the spotlight towards Kenosha, Wisconsin, where, of course, Jacob Blake was killed. He said, quote, that was very, very powerful. I think they made the decision in Milwaukee, which was a very courageous one. And then it was very, very interesting to see the other teams fell in line and the other sports fell in line. Now, NBA players have been standing up to social injustices for months now, as I mentioned, in the wake of the death of George Floyd. Every court that they've played on within the NBA bubble has had the Black Lives Matter painted across it, and the players are wearing messages of social justice on their jerseys. You guys have heard us talk about that, as well as Casey Hudson during the FNN Sports Take as well. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to take one final commercial break and then come back with your entertainment story. Stay tuned as we wrap up.
All this time we fought side by side. We trained together. We lost together. And now, you're the only one standing in my way. It's been a while, old friend.
Welcome back to the evening news rundown as we wrap up with the entertainment story. Now, Disney's The King's Man is now being pushed back to 2021. Originally, the film was scheduled to release in September, but as a result of the pandemic, it is being moved to February 26th, 2021. Now, Disney made the announcement on Thursday, and the film is being released by 20th Century Studios, which Disney, of course, recently acquired from 20th Century Fox. Now, the King's Men franchise is a priority for Disney, which inherited the series when they took over 20th Century Fox. The adult skewing movies have always done particularly well on both coasts. The latest installment is directed by Matthew Vaughn and is actually a prequel. The ensemble cast of this one includes Ray Fiennes, Gemma Arterton, Rhys Ifans, Matthew Good, Tom Hollander, Harris Dickinson, Daniel Bruhl, Jaimon Hounsou, and Charles Dance. Now, the movie's delay isn't necessarily a surprise, considering that there has been little marketing for the film in recent days. Now, the 110 poll that is determined to stick to its late summer or early fall release is Christopher Nolan's Tenet, which Warner Brothers which will roll out overseas this weekend and in select U.S. cities over Labor Day weekend. So anyone that's looking forward to that, personal history of David Copperfield debuts in more than 1,300 locations. Like other companies, Disney will continue to evaluate its release calendar on a picture-by-picture basis as studios assess what the appetite for movie going is as theaters continue to gradually reopen. Because, as always, guys, we like to exhort you to continue to stay safe, and not everyone is quite yet comfortable with venturing out to be in a small space, a small room, as a movie theater contained space, and kind of put themselves at risk. So we'll continue to keep you guys updated and continue to exhort you to stay safe, guys. Wash your hands, sanitize them, glove them, protect them in any way you need to. Make sure that you practice safe social distancing, and as required, wherever you are, wear your masks, okay? Make sure you continue to stay safe and stay alive. In the meantime, guys, that does it here for us at the Evening News Rundown. Today is Friday, so the programming continues. Hopefully you guys were able to catch the awesome interview earlier with Jenny Rosario de Casiano on Entertainment Buzz with Daniel Walks. If not, just check us out at Florida National News on Facebook and YouTube, and you'll be able to see the replay. Tonight, Casey will be back with the FNN Sports Take at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, if you guys haven't already, be sure to like, share, subscribe, follow, do all that fun stuff as always. You can find us at Florida National News on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And as a quick reminder for anyone that is interested in advertising with us, just shoot us an email at ads@floridanationalnews.com. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend. Take care.